Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope your day and your weekend are going well so far. We got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. I got a few picks for today's slate that I'm pretty excited about. But first, as always, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. And when you hit the subscribe button down below, we get there just a little bit sooner. Like I've been saying in both of my MLB videos so far this week, we are still going a little more conservative here. We're not throwing the whole kitchen sink at you guys here. We do have 6 player props for today's slate, but again, don't go crazy with your units. Don't throw a shit ton of money on all these picks. Not saying I'm not confident. I'm just saying it is gambling, and you never know what happens. But always be conservative early in the year because it's tough to follow the trends. I did find some props with decent data on them, but just to let you guys know, please, I'm just asking you guys nicely, don't go too crazy. There's a long MLB season ahead of us. Don't, especially newer bettors who I think, you win a couple of bets and now all of a sudden you're like, hey, this is fun. Let me start putting some bigger units down. Be cautious. Be smart with your units. Be smart with your money. And I promise you guys, throughout the year, we will be profitable here on the show. All right, before we jump into today's props, quick little recap of last night here. Not too bad. I gave up 5 player props in yesterday's video. We cashed on 3 of them. We missed on 2. JD Davis, we had him under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. He had a massive game for Oakland last night. And Kike, listen, he went 0 for 3 batting, but unfortunately no strikeouts for him. But Mookie Betts was no brainer. Alex Verdugo was a little bit of a sweat, but he did carry us in the end. And Chris Bassett was never really a doubt there. So like I said, guys, 6 props today. Let's dive right in. All right, guys, my first prop of today's slate we're grabbing from the Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies game with first pitch going off at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Austin Riley of the Atlanta Braves over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. We'll get over to the Outlier screen now, guys. You don't know what Outlier is. They are the best sports betting tool on the market. Link in the description below, 7-day free trial to try it out for yourself. I'm telling you guys, with MLB season here, with NBA, NHL playoffs coming up, all this great sports content and stuff coming up, you're going to want to bet on these things, and the best way to bet, especially when it comes to player props, is Outlier. Like I show you guys in all my videos, both NBA and MLB, there's so much information, so much insight, so much data that Outlier provides. It consolidates everything you need that could save you a lot of time, really, in your sports betting research. If you watch my player prop video, I spend at least an hour a day researching, but if it wasn't for Outlier, I'd probably spend more like 2 hours a day, maybe even 3 hours a day researching. It really does make it a lot easier, gives you guys a lot of great insight into what you should be betting. One more time, guys, link in the description below, 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. You really got nothing to lose. All right, guys, Austin Riley over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. You see here, this prop is available on DraftKings, BetMGM, Prize Picks, and Underdog. Like I told you in my other video, guys, I've been doing a little research on what the best sports books are to bet baseball props, and so far, DraftKings and BetMGM are the 2 kings. Prize Picks and Underdog are also pretty good. FanDuel just lacking as always. You look at, again, we're ignoring, like I've said in my last 2 videos, we're ignoring the last 10, last 20 data. I know now, a couple games into this year, you can throw that in the last 10. But again, this is all dating back to last season, a lot of this stuff. So we're going to, for the most part, ignore it. We're looking to look at here is the head-to-head data, which is fantastic. Austin Riley has cashed us in 13 of his last 18 games versus the Phillies. That's a 72% hit rate. He's averaging 2.72 hits plus runs plus RBIs versus the Phillies, dating back to May of last year. And you look at last season as a whole, he hit this at a 61% hit rate. He played every game for the Braves, 100 out of 163 games for the Braves, a 61% hit rate for Austin Riley last season. And so far in 2024, he's only played 1 game for the Braves, but a 100% hit rate. He played yesterday versus the Phillies. He had 2 hits plus runs plus RBIs last night. So, he's been looking. The data looks pretty strong here for Austin Riley. And look, one of the big things here is the matchup. You see here, Riley versus Aaron Nola. I don't know why they put M. Riley here. It's Austin Riley. It's a little weird. Austin Riley versus Aaron Nola since 2018 has 54 plate appearances, batting .412 versus Nola since 2018 with a .444 OBP, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs. He's been hitting pretty well off of Nola since 2018. And you look at the data here, you wouldn't think, for Austin Riley, the data is pretty much the same versus right-handed pitchers as it is in total. You see here his total value, 281 batting average, 280 versus right-handed pitchers. It's the same. It's all the same stuff. And Same thing kind of for Aaron Nola. You see here, his ERA is slightly lower versus right-handed batters, but it's still 4.29. It's still practically the same. His batting average allowed is practically the same. Everything's close to the same here. But again, the head-to-head matchup there, again, versus the Phillies, he's been cashing this consistently, and versus Aaron Nola in particular, you see here, it looks pretty damn good. For minus 115 odds, and again, if you're using underdog or prize picks, 119, 120, it's pretty good value. All right, switching gears over to the Cleveland Guardians Oakland A's game, which is a 4:07 p.m. first pitch. We have Jose Ramirez of the Guardians over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Look at the head-to-head data for Jose Ramirez. He's hit this in each of his last 8 matchups versus the Oakland A's dating back to April of last year, averaging 3.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs versus the Oakland A's. He's had some pretty big games versus Oakland. And it's not like this is just versus Oakland. You see on the season last year as a whole, a 57% hit rate, 89 out of 156 games last year. He cashed this over for the Guardians with an average of 2.17 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game. So the overall data is good, and the head-to-head data is especially good here for Jose Ramirez. Look at a little more of the key matchup stats here. Jose Ramirez versus JP Sears since 2018. 6 plate appearances, batting .333 with a 333 OBP. Excuse me. Why do we like this prop? Gets on base. That's right. Little Moneyball reference. Comment Moneyball down below if you are watching this far into the video. One of the best sports movies, I think, of all time. Definitely one of the best baseball movies of all time, but I think one of the best sports movies of all time in general. Anytime I bet anything on the Oakland A's or against the Oakland A's, you're probably going to see me reference Moneyball quite a few times. One of my favorite movies ever. But there you go. Jose Ramirez here. Again, his batting average does dip a little bit versus left-handed pitchers. But JP Sears, his numbers go up. You see his batting average significantly jumps versus right-handed batters. It goes from 249 to 323 versus right-handed batters. And you see his ERA also jumps. Everything jumps from him. I know Jose Ramirez's numbers go down a little bit, but I'm not too concerned about that. Ramirez is off to a hot start to the year. His first 2 games of the year, you see here on the first opening day in that 8-0 win for Cleveland, he had 1 hit, 1 run, 1 RBI. And then last night, 2 RBIs, 1 run, and 1 hit. A really strong start to the year for Jose Ramirez. I think that continues into tonight. This is a minus 150 odd on both DraftKings and BetMGM. It's for good reason. Again, guys, make sure to comment Moneyball down below in the comments. Our third prop of today's slate, we're going to the Angels-Orioles game with a 4:05 p.m. first pitch. We're going Griffin Canning of the LA Angels over 2.5 earned runs. Again, just look at the head-to-head data. The last time he faced off with Baltimore, now this was of May of last year, but he gave up 3 earned runs the last time he played the Baltimore Orioles. And look at the right side of the screen here, Griffin Canning versus Baltimore. His earned runs per 9 innings is a 5.06, which is not good at all. His innings pitched, 5.1. 6.75 strikeouts per 9, which is actually good for Griffin Canning, to be honest. But the ERA per 9 innings versus the Orioles, again, only 1 start versus them, but pretty good. It means that we got pretty good matchup here for Griffin Canning. And look, the Orioles' offense is hot right now, and even last year in general, their offense was really good. But it looks even it might even be better this year. Probably is going to be better this year. The over-under for this game is set at 8.5, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, if there's going to be a lot of runs scored in this game, I don't see it coming from the Angels side of things. Of course, they have Mike Trout, and they have some pieces, so maybe they do contribute a little bit, but I think most of the runs will be scored by Baltimore here. I think Griffin Canning will probably give up a good amount of those runs. You look at the right side of the screen, it's kind of tough to look at this, the Orioles players' careers, or not careers, but matchups versus Griffin Canning since 2018. A lot of these Orioles guys haven't been around very long, so the data isn't not a lot of data to go off of. But you see a lot of green there. 500 batting average for McCann, 333 for Rutschman, 667 for Gunnar Henderson. Again, only 3 at bats versus him, but I do like the matchup here for this Griffin Canning over. Excuse me. All right, guys, 3 props left for today's slate. The next prop, we're going to the Blue Jays-Rays game, which has a 4:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going with Jose Caballero over half a total base. 100% hit rate so far versus the Toronto Blue Jays this season. In this series so far, he had 1 total base in the opening day matchup, and he had 2 total bases last night. So 100% hit rate so far this year, and a really solid start for Caballero. You see the matchup here. He's only had two plate appearances versus Kikuchi since 2018. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. But he's got a 500 batting average. He had 1 total base versus Kikuchi in that last time they played each other. And look, it looks pretty good. Caballero versus left-handed pitchers. He's actually a better hitter. His average goes from 221 to 265. His data, overall, it gets slightly better versus left-handed pitchers. Versus Kikuchi versus right-handed batters, His ERA dips slightly, ever so slightly, but his batting average also slightly increases. His slugging percentage allowed increases. So the head-to-head data is pretty good here. I think Caballero's off to a decent start to the year. I think he continues that and gets on base at least once in this game. Again, guys, as the year goes along, we get more games into the season. We will have more data for this year, but unfortunately, we only have 2 games to go off of for this season, so not a ton to go off of, but still some decent data here to show. All right, guys, the 5th prop of today's slate, we're targeting the Pittsburgh Pirates-Miami Marlins game with a 4:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going with O'Neal Cruz of the Pirates over half total bases. Now, you see here, this prop is available at Caesars, DraftKings, BetMGM, and Underdog. Again, DraftKings and MGM, they're on pretty much every player prop, so pretty good for if you're looking for a sports book that gives out good player props. DraftKings and BetMGM so far look to be king. A good, solid start to this new season for O'Neal Cruz. You see here his cashes in both games. He had 4 total bases in the opening day matchup versus Miami and 2 total bases last night against Miami. Look at the head-to-head matchup again. It shows the same thing, those two hits for him. And the matchup stats look really, really good here for O'Neal Cruz. Now, there's no specific head-to-head data versus Ryan Weathers, but mainly because he didn't really go off against Pittsburgh. It looks like he didn't even have looks like there's no data here for the most part versus the Pirates. So I don't think there is any head-to-head data for O'Neal Cruz. But you look at O'Neal Cruz's splits here versus left-handed pitchers. Again, there's not a ton to go off of. He only had 40 plate appearances in total last season for the Pirates. But in the 7 plate appearances he had versus left-handed pitchers, 600 batting average. You see the numbers were pretty good. 3 total bases. It looks pretty good. It looks like he was a significantly better hitter. Again, it's a very small sample size. Keep that in mind. The sample size is very small for O'Neal Cruz. Overall, batted .250 last year. But again, only 40 plate appearances. But what's very encouraging here, is Ryan Weathers. His ERA goes from, which is 6.55 overall, which is not good at all. It jumps to 7.53 overall versus left-handed batters. The slugging percentage goes up. The extra base hit percentage goes up. But similarly to O'Neal Cruz, the sample size is kind of small. Only 64 batters faced versus left-handed batters last year. So again, you have two guys with kind of small sample size, but what we have, the data that is presented, it looks pretty good. O'Neal Cruz off to a strong start to this year. I do like this prop. I think it's a pretty surefire, and there's a reason why it is where it is at the odds, right? It's -140, -155. There's a reason the sportsbooks have it like that. They think it's a pretty good chance he has to hit this. Small sample size, put it to the side. Don't worry about it. I do love this prop here, guys. I do highly recommend it. All right, guys, our 6th and final prop of tonight's slate. We're going Yankees-Astros here at first pitch at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Hunter Brown of the Astros over 4.5 hits allowed. This prop is available on multiple Caesars, DraftKings, BetMGM, Prize Picks, Underdog. It is a plus money odds if you're betting with Caesars here. He has cashed this in 7 of his last 10. Again, we're not really looking at that too much, though, because of the fact that a lot of that comes back to last season. But looking at the head-to-head matchup, each of the last 2 times he's faced off with the Yankees in September of last year and in August of last year, he cashed this over. Now, you look at last year as a whole for the Yankees versus right-handed pitchers. It doesn't look great, but their last 30 game, which also includes this year and the end of last year, you saw they got really hot towards the end of last season. And Hunter Brown, his statistics last year versus pitchers in general, not very good. He had a .264 batting average allowed. You see here all the hard pitch percentage, 36.9. ERA 5.19 overall. So not very good numbers for Hunter Brown here. This is one of the best rivalries in baseball right now. And I think the Yankees, whenever they play the Astros, there's a little extra juice there from the Yankees. I think they take advantage of this matchup. I think they have a field day hitting off them. I think 5 hits allowed is a pretty surefire bet in my opinion. Again, nothing's guaranteed when it comes to sports betting, but I do like the spot here for Hunter Brown. This over of 4.5 hits allowed. All right, guys, that is it for me for today's video. Those are the 6 props I'm handing out for today's MLB Player Prop slate. Couple little things to end the video. Real quick, I know, guys, I keep seeing people in the comments saying, please post the picks, please post the picks. Here's what I will do. Because the thing is, and I see some people commenting back, thank you to those who do that. The reason why I don't post the picks right into the video or the minute I post it is because you guys won't watch the video when you go ahead. You're just going to go look for the picks, take them, and run. You're not going to actually watch the video. You're not actually going to use what I'm giving you guys and the time that I'm putting in. You're not really going to use it. You're just going to take the picks and run. And listen, I get it. You're here for the picks. You're not here necessarily to listen to me ramble on. But part of the reason why I think you need to watch the videos is because I give you my reasons and my insights as to why I like the props. Because the number one thing I think I see when I post the props in the comments is they take the props. If they lose, immediately they run back into the comments and are like, oh, this guy, he sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm giving you guys my analysis and the reasons why I like it. I don't want you guys just bet because I think it's a bad strategy. If you're just taking props off of some guy's page without really looking into why he has those props, I don't think that's a smart strategy. What me and Ev do here on the channel is we like to give you guys the props and give you guys our reasons or the picks in general, like Ev does the straight bets and the spreads and all that stuff. We like to give you the information as to why we like it, the data behind it, the science behind it, the trends behind it. It's important that you watch the video so you understand why I'm giving out these props. I'm not just giving them because I'm like, oh, you know, I woke up this morning and, O'Neal Cruz over half a total base just kind of popped in my head. No, I put the time in, I put the research in to finding that data and giving you guys the reason so that when it hits, you understand why I liked it. And when it loses, even though it loses, I'm not saying that I'm excused from the result of a defeat, but you understand the thought process as to why I picked it. I didn't just pick it off a tree like it was just an apple, and I just happened to pluck it. I picked it because there was a reason behind it, because there was a pattern behind it or a trend or whatever. So that's why I don't post the picks. And also, I put a lot of work into these videos. I put a lot of time into the research. I put a lot of time in recording. I also, like I said, I own a business, so it's a lot. So I do appreciate when you guys view, when you comment, all that stuff. And obviously, if you just come in for the picks, you don't watch the video, then guess what? All that hard work, it doesn't go to waste necessarily, but it kind of goes to waste. So here's what I'll do, because I'm rambling on now. The video's running a little bit long here. Here's what I will do. I'm not going to post the picks in the comments right away. I will make sure that I post the picks, in a pinned comment before the game starts. So all my picks today were for 4 o'clock and on. I will make sure before 4 o'clock in a pinned comment, I will have all of the plays for today posted so that you guys can follow along and you guys can see and bet along with what I have. Also, in stealing this, taking a page out of Ev's book, listen, I know Ev, he's not going to be mad at me for taking it. We're going to start doing ride of the day here on the channel. So along with posting the pinned comment, I'll put my 6 props, and then along with my 6 props, I will also tag the ride of the day for today's slate. So guys, comment down below, hashtag ride of the day. Give me your player prop, and one of you lucky guys will be picked, and I will put you guys in the pinned comment, and we'll go from there. And the same thing with Ev. If you win, come back tomorrow or the next day we do a player prop video, and we'll go ahead and run it back. So we're doing ride of the day now. We're going to take a page out of Ev's book. I think it's a fun way to get everybody involved in the community, a way for you guys to kind of share your insight and your picks. Again, we're a community here, and I like when you guys comment, and I like when you guys get involved in the betting. So recap of that little rant that I just had there. I will be posting the picks in the pinned comment moving forward. Again, not right away. I'll do it right before the start of the games. And I will also start doing ride of the day. So if you guys give a ride of the day here, I will post it in the pinned comment. So guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much for watching as always. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. I'm debating. I normally don't do videos on Sunday, but tomorrow is Easter. I am Greek Orthodox, so it is not my Easter. My Easter isn't until May 5th. But happy Easter to everybody who is celebrating tomorrow. I am thinking about giving you guys a little Easter gift and maybe doing an MLB player prop video for tomorrow. We will see. I'm not making any promises, but you may see me tomorrow. You may not. It all depends how the day goes. But guys, just in case, I hope you have a happy Easter. Hope you guys enjoy the holiday. Hope the Easter Bunny is good to you guys. But until next time, I hope we're all winners.